Good morning and welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be going over the 5 best steady gold farms that you can do right now. Now stick around and enjoy the video. Okay, so today we're going to be going over 5 steady gold farms that you can do pretty much right now as and when you watch this video. Aside from all of that, let's just get into our first one at number 1, which is the Primal Fire farm. Now this one is a very high selling and fast selling item, as well as it goes for a very strong gold per hour. This is also located within the Hellfire Peninsula at the Throne of Kil'jaeden. This is where you'll be wanting to go over towards the Throne of Kil'jaeden and kill the fire elementals. These can be the fell fire elementals, so they will look green-esque fashion, and what you're going to be wanting to do is by burning those guys down. They are spaced out quite somewhat, so I'd highly recommend using a tag. I use Moonfire more specifically in order to do that, and you can also use a macro which would be like /target the elemental's name, and then you can use /cast Moonfire, and then you can just run around and just kill all those mobs and then just loot up once you're actually done. Aside from all of that, you shouldn't have a problem if you run around in a loop-esque fashion, and they should all reset by the time you get to the other end. You just fly back and then you should be able to redo that, as all of those mobs tend to respawn by the time all of the other mobs are dead. So you shouldn't run out of mobs when you're actually farming this, and you get a load of Primal Fire when you're farming this up on a regular basis. And with the strong sell rate of Primal Fire, you shouldn't have a problem selling this for a good gold per hour and get that return quite fast. This is why it's a good steady gold farm, and that is why it is at number 1. That being said, let's move on to our next one at number 2, which is the Volatile Fire farm in the Twilight Highlands. Now, with this particular macro, all you have to do is do this for the Unbound. This is why I generally like to use this type of macro, because it's interchangeable with a lot of these types of farms, and that no surprise this is for the Volatile Fire farm in the Twilight Highlands. Failing that, I would highly recommend doing this in a 5-man group, generally because you can space you guys out in a pentagon-esque fashion in this area, and the more mobs you kill, the more faster they'll respawn, and you generally get more Volatile Fire from doing this. But overall, I find that this is a great way in order to get a lot of Volatile Fire with this farm, and I would highly recommend pairing this with the Potion of Treasure Finding, as this will generally provide you with a lot more materials than you necessarily would, and that means like Pirate Ore, a lot of volatiles, Embersilk Cloth as well, just from doing this. And all you do is run around in a loop-esque fashion. If you do this in a 5-man group, however, you are stationary, and then every 2 minutes you guys rotate round and loot up overall, and then you can get a load of Volatile Fire that way. Hence why this is the best farm for Volatile Fire, because you can do this in a 5-man or solo, it doesn't really matter, but you'll get a load of gold overall from doing this farm, and it's generally well worth your while because Volatile Fire sells incredibly fast for an old world material. Now this one's generally one that's not really talked about all that much, but this one's the Essence of Air farm. This is located in the top left northern side of Silithus, and this is generally a very good farm in order to do. You do get things like Breath of Air, which actually sell for a lot of gold, and overall what you're going to be doing is killing all of the air elementals in that specific area. What you're going to be wanting to do is just go around that pillar in the top left and just kill all of those air elementals. It's really that simple. They're all named the same. There is a rare that actually spawns there, which does have a very high chance of dropping Essence of Air as well, but that's only like a rare, so just if he's up, kill him. If not, then don't worry. All of the air elementals have a chance of dropping all Essence of Air and all that stuff, and they also have a chance of dropping a lot of Vanguard-esque transmog as well, as a little side note for this farm. This farm tends to go for a good gold per hour, as a lot of these essences and breaths and all that stuff for those materials sell generally fast, and also moderately fast as well, as they're used for a lot of old world crafts and also reagents for multiple different things. So I'd highly recommend going ahead and farming those up, as it's a nice little takeaway from other different type of material farms, so this is a nice one you can do just on a general basis. That being said, let's move over to our next one at number 4, which is the Essence of Water farm. Now, this one is located within the Swamp of Sorrows, and this is in the bottom left of the actual map. What you're going to be wanting to do is killing the water elementals, figured, and basically you just have to go in a loop-esque fashion. I generally like to do this on my druid because I can just set it up with the Moonfire macro, and I can just run around and just spam that button, as well as just kill all and just loot, and do that repeatedly again, and I'll get a lot of Essence of Water. There is another farm in order to do this, and that is within Winter Spring, but I generally don't do this as that one works better with a 5-man group. But if you do want to do that, I will be happy to cover that in the future. Aside from all of that, guys, the Essence of Water sells for a lot of gold, as it is typically used for a lot of old world crafts, as well as a Legion based craft, which is for the Tome of Illusions. This is generally a very good farm in order to do, as it brings in a nice amount of steady gold, and it has a very strong sell rate to go along with this. Aside from all of that, guys, let's jump into our last one at number 5, which is the Primal Air farm. Now, Primal Air is generally a very good material, especially for a BC material. It sells incredibly fast. It sells even faster than Primal Fire, so it's like on par or sells faster. It's amazing how well that actually sells. And Primal Air can be farmed up within Shadowmoon Valley. Now, the only problem with this particular farm is you're going to be farming up the air elementals in this area. The thing of note for this is the air elementals are quite spaced out, so I'd highly recommend doing this on Druid, as you can go in and out of your flight forms. But overall, if you don't want to do that, then you don't have to. You can just use a general flying mount, but you may want to be able to pick a class that is able to get around an area pretty dang fast, as they're quite well spaced out. And overall, once you've actually understood how you would actually do the route, as the spawn area is very misshapen, even I forget where everything is when I'm doing this, and I covered this quite a few times. But overall, it's one of those ones where you're going to have to do a couple of loops in order to understand where the spawn points are, and you shouldn't have that much of a problem farming up Primal Air from this. And after a good while of farming this up, you generally get a general gist. Coincidentally, once you've actually killed all of those air elementals, they will instantly respawn again, so you shouldn't have a problem. The only problem is because they're spaced out, you can't just run between the two and just do all of that. Have not tried doing a 5-man farm for this, so I'd highly recommend checking that out if you are willing to give that a go. I'm willing to give that a go, so if we're on Argent Dawn and there's another 4 people that want to do it, we can all do that together if you'd like. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much everything I have to say for 5 steady gold farms that you could probably do right now and make a decent amount of gold. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.
If you want to support the channel and help make the channel even better, then why not check out the Patreon? Members get additional info, gold making resources, and Patreon specific content. The link is located in the description down below. Thank you and have an awesome day.